Wells on the Coast, the podcast where we talk about riding the waves of sustainability, preparedness, and living the small homestead life. I'm Charlie, and welcome back after a year and a half of a hiatus. We had a podcast in August of last year talking to Wayne Cooley, the inventor of the Universal Deck, and other than that, we've been pretty much silent, but that's because we've had a lot going on. Tonight, I'm going to give you kind of an update as to what's been going on around the homestead, and we'll talk about the universal accessory kit a little bit, and kind of talk about what's going on with it. So, give me 1 second to turn this light out. Let's see if that stops the glare a little bit. Nope. Anyway, you'll have to excuse the glare on my glasses. I could just take them off and just not be able to see anything, which is fine. But anyway, so the last year and a half, we've had a very exciting addition to the family. We had another child back in November of last year. And so that gets us to a total of 5 currently. And so we've been busy with all the kids, trying to make them happy and keep them from destroying everything here at the house. And another thing, I'm going to move the screen just a little bit. Here's my barn, right? It's still not totally finished with the walls and whatnot, but I've got a mini fridge. Let me move it out this way. Mini fridge behind me, got lamps, got a seat from the bus, got a TV, all my 3D printing stuff, all of the creative type stuff that has to deal with me is here in this barn now. So I've got our little working space, and it's kind of organized to where we can actually do something. Other thing is we've been working on our chicken run, and we've been working on our chickens, trying to make them as happy as possible. We've expanded the chicken run a whole bunch. We had a dog kennel style chicken cage for them, and then we've added a run to the side of it. Now we've extended that out, so now we can shut down one side of the run and turn it into a garden, and then the next season swap over to the other side. So now we're kind of in a rotation type setup for gardening, and this is the first year we've actually been able to do anything with it. And I set out all the plants yesterday, and apparently they did fine, even though it came up a big storm and rained a ton. So we'll see how all of that goes. Hopefully we'll have plenty of hot peppers and eggplants and tomatoes in the next few months. Let's see, what else have we had going on? The Charlie Small Engine stuff that I was doing has mainly come to an end. I'm not really pursuing that at the moment. It was taking way too much time for what it was worth. However, I still on occasion will do a few things, but not nearly to the extent that I was trying to do it. But other than that, that's pretty much been it. We've been trying to keep the house together and keep everything going pretty good here, and it's just taken a lot of time, and it's just been rough, especially with the economy being the way it is. Everything's gone up in the last few years, and it's just been a hard transition to get into, making sure we can take care of ourselves and make sure we can deal with everything we've got going on while also trying to raise 5 kids at the same time. Well, really, that's all the update. I mean, we've been trying to get stuff cleaned up here around the house and get things working a little bit better, but it's been a struggle. Yeah, so that's the update. Now, the way this was going to work originally, I was going to have something along the lines of, I would like to do a video on the Universal Accessory Kit one day and show you exactly what's in it, how it goes together, and all that good stuff. But I don't think I will get to that point tonight. But we'll talk about a couple of things that we include in the universal accessory kit and why they're good, and then maybe we can give you an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Let me pull this up. All right. I'm going to have to put my glasses back on so I can read what I got going on. But so if you don't know, the Universal Accessory Kit is a product that I've put together. It's based on a product that a guy named Smog Dog came up with. And what we've got, I'll go grab a couple and show you. Now, to be fair, this is an old prototype, so don't judge it too bad. But what it is we've got these are caps, just like this, and they fit onto duct tape. So you have a roll of duct tape, which I've got here. So what we do is we give you a roll of T-Rex tape. This is the T-Rex brute force. This is for a different kit that has yet to come into fruition or production. But, and then this is our new version of our caps made out of ABS plastic. These are made out of polylactic acid, so they're a little bit tender when it comes to heat. What you do, the cap would go into the bottom, the cap would go into the top. They're snap into place, and inside of this T-Rex tape, you would have all sorts of different. Oh gosh, I got seeds falling everywhere. You would have different items that are useful for an everyday kind of situation. And let's see, we'll show this right here. So what we've got, here's the universal accessory kit. And here's what we got in there. We got T-Rex tape with the caps. Like I said, the caps are black now because they're made out of nice ABS plastic. But the cap has a post on it that you could set a bobbin, and there's your bobbin right there. You put the bobbin on the post and bring it through one of the eyelets, and now you can dispense yourself a little bit of Kevlar cord. You've got Ballistol wipe. You got Sugru, some Goop hand cleaner, Flitz polish, bunch of different little zip tie and twist tie things, some paper clips. That's some fishing tackle that I've seen called the 100-pound paper clip, so that's what I call it. There's like a larger safety pin. You got a little sewing kit with a safety pin and different colored threads, and a couple buttons, and a needle threader. You got some coffee, some Gorilla Glue, original Gorilla Glue, urethane style, for those wood tasks that you might need to do something with. Then you've got some Loctite super glue, some F4 tape, Ranger band, some more Kevlar cordage that's a little bit thicker than the one on the bobbin. I don't know if I said coffee or not. There's coffee. And then you've got a little bit of first aid stuff, sting relief wipe, and Next Care, Max Hold bandage, ammonia towelette, smelling salts, basically. Then you've got the alcohol prep pad and then a splinter out. And then there's some super lube and a Dermasafe knife and Scotch-Brite pad and a glue stick. But that's what is in the thing. And all of this is packed inside of that T-Rex tape. So it's a nice little kit that you can carry with you. It doesn't all fit exactly. I've added a couple of extra things in there since I started. But for the main part, you take it, put the caps on. It stays closed relatively well. I'll ship it to you. if I sell it to you or whatever. I usually put a Ranger band across the top so it keeps them together. And as soon as you use one or two items out of it, all of that just allows it to compress back together nice and tight. And so then it's held together good. Um, but the original idea of the universal accessory kit was just to have something on hand that could tackle as many different tasks as possible in as small of a footprint as possible. I mean, I'm a big EDC guy. I like the idea of having a kit that can be used for anything. There's a company called ACW Tactical. They have the MacGyver kit. The MacGyver kit has a bunch of stuff to tackle a bunch of different things, and it's a little bit big. But I mean, it's not so big that you can't do anything with it, but it's like one of those Condor style packs. It's about 6 or 8 inches across by about 4 or 5 inches deep. So it's a little bit cumbersome to just carry around in a backpack or carry into work with you. But this kit, you can carry it wherever you need to. Toss in a backpack, take it into work. If you have something go wrong, you can, say your bumper falls off your car, you hit a deer on the way to work, you got to keep your bumper on there. Tape it up. It doesn't, you can keep going. It's got enough in it to get you through the day if you were to have any of those kind of issues. But tonight, what I'm going to talk about is 4 different items in this kit that I've got that may not be as recognizable. Some of them will be. A lot of, if you're like preparedness or mechanically minded, you may have seen these before, but their uses go far beyond what the main selling point is for them. So let me change back to this real quick. So in this little picture that you've got, let's see if I can get over here, zoom in on it. There we go. All right, so in this little top left corner, you've got a green Ballistol wipe. You've got this white package of Goop hand cleaner, the silver Flitz polish, and then Super Lube, which is that little clear tube right there above the Dermasafe knife. You may not be able to see it right here. And the Dermasafe, or golly, I'm crazy. Well, we'll just do this. We'll go over what it is. So what I call this particular setup, these 4 items, I call this the Universal Care Kit. And basically, you've got a Ballistol wipe, which is like a WD-40 type product. I say type product because it's a lubricating, cleaning, preserving. It does different things. It's mainly marketed toward the gun community as a CLP, but it can be used for anything. It comes in aerosol, liquid, whatnot. And so that's the Ballistol. Then you got Goop, which is a hand cleaner that it can also remove stains from washable clothing. It can get bubble gum and solvents and ink and stuff out of hair and stuff like that. Then you got Flitz polish, which is a non-toxic, non-abrasive polish, and then Super Lube, which is a multi-purpose synthetic grease. But those 4 things is what I call the Universal Care Kit. Now, the Ballistol wipe is kind of like the versatile protector because it's renowned for its multifunctional properties, and it's biodegradable and non-toxic. It's basically mineral oil that has been augmented with a trade secret formula that was developed in 1904 by Dr. Helmut Cleaver for the German Imperial Army. And it was intended to be used on metals, on your gun, the wood and the leather. It's good on plastics, and it's also good to neutralize acidic residues and prevent corrosion. And then if you're using the liquid version, you can emulsify it into water, and you can use it to clean out like black powder residue and stuff like that. Using it in ultrasonic cleaners. You can use it in the house for hinges. You can use it on your cutting boards if you really want to. And one of the other things you can use it for, it's not advertised as this in the United States. It's somewhat advertised as this in Germany, but not to the same extent. But you can also use it for wound care. And it's mainly for cuts and scrapes and things like that. But I've used it before, you're out, or you can actually use it for insect repellent. But none of that is actually, it's not marketed as that. That's what I use it for. That's what historically it has been used for in the past. And from what I've learned from the guys in the US that compound the Ballistol to sell here, is that it is the exact same formula. They even send samples off to Germany to have it tested to make sure it meets the quality standard. So it's the exact same product across the board. Whatever Germany sells their universal oil as, the Ballistol multi-purpose that you get in the United States should do the exact same thing. But yeah, it's you carry a little bit with you when you're going out for a hike with the kids. A kid falls and scrapes his knee. If you need to spray some on there, just a little squirt won't hurt anybody. Spray it on there. The next day, it's pretty much healed. It's pretty amazing how well it works for stuff like that. And then, we use it on the cutting boards in the house. It soaks in perfectly fine. It's got a smell to it, which is, it's licorice. It's anethol is what the smell is from, which is the essential oil from like licorice. But in different concentrations, it can smell like wet dog. Different other concentrations, it smells more sweet and floral. But it depends on who you are and how your nose, kinds of smells this stuff, because it can be offensive at times, but it dissipates relatively quickly. It's food safe. You can use it on your pocket knives and not worry about, cutting an apple or something with it. So that's why Ballistol's in there. It is like the versatile protector. And then, so kind of out of order, Flitz Polish, the little silver packet that you saw in the image. That little silver packet is Flitz Polish. And if you don't know, Flitz it's another German-esque type product. I think the chemicals are compounded in Germany and we sell it in the United States. But it is the shine and protect kind of aspect of this. It's a good, powerful cleaner and protector. It's got a wax in it. So after you've cleaned let's say you've got a pocket knife, just because most people have pocket knives. You have a pocket knife and you use this to shine the blade and get rid of any tarnish or whatnot that's on it. It's got a wax that's left over. So then that wax can go in and keep everything nice and clean and protect it for about 6 months. I mean, if you go to using the knife, of course, that's going to wear off and it's not going to be there to protect it anymore. But if it's just going to be in your pocket for a while, you've got about 6 months of protectant after you've applied it. And although it's good on metals, it's also good on even on precious metals like gold and silver. It'll take the tarnish right off, leave everything nice and shiny. You can use it on plastic and fiberglass and even on painted surfaces. It removes tarnish, oxidation, and stains while leaving that waxy protective coating. It's non-abrasive, which it's not really non-abrasive because it has aluminum oxide in it, but it's such a fine grit that in like the whatever I don't know if it's American Society of Engineers or ASTM or NSE, whatever it is. The testing that they do, it's such a fine grit that it counts as non-abrasive. So it will scratch light surfaces, which is why it's good on plastic, because the main thing you can do with it is, let's say you've got a piece of plexiglass on a boat and it's kind of gotten oxidized, it's gotten dingy because of the UV and the salt and whatnot. You can actually take this and apply it, and then you can buff it out and get that plexiglass back to a clear appearance rather than it being the scratched appearance. That makes it also good for doing headlights. It's like a one-stop shop. Apply it to your headlights, buff it out real good, and now you've got clearer headlights without having to wet sand and do all of that. And then if you've got like old tractors or old trucks and things that have like sun bleached paint where the clear coat's kind of gone a little bit yellow, you can apply this to it and then buff it out, and it'll bring it back to a color that's more reminiscent of the original color underneath that oxidation. I'm not going to say that it brings it back to exactly the same color, because of course over time pigments are going to change and all that's kind of depend. But when you remove that surface oxidation, you're going to end up seeing the nice closer to the original paint on the end. So that it's good for a lot. So that's our shine and protect portion of the universal care kit, which is a subset, because that's kind of the thing. This thing has different subsets of, so we got like the universal care kit, and then, I mean, it's not organized in this picture like that, but you've got like the securing kit, you've got the repairing kit, and then you've got like the first aid and the self help kit, sort of. All right, now the next one, super lube. Yes, Ballistol is a lubricant, but super lube is a grease, and what it is, it's got Syncolon in it, which is a PTFE based lubricant, and it's good against friction, wear, rust, and corrosion, and it's dielectric. It's food grade, and well, insofar as PTFE is food grade, right? It was certified food grade several years ago under the older standards, so technically it is food grade. And then you can use it from like negative 45 degrees to 450 degrees, and it's good for, using. You can use it on your brakes in your car. I've used it for that before. You're having to lubricate the caliper or the brake pad slides inside of your bracket, or lubricating the back side of the brake pad where it's touching the piston inside your caliper. It works great for that. It's good for sewing machines because I've used it for that before. You can use it on your guns if you really need to. It's a very very versatile grease that's compatible with most other greases. I think the main thing that it's not compatible with is like EPDM, whatever plastic it is that we use, that's used for these. I know it's not good for Buna and cork or nitrile. That's mainly it. The EPDM nitrile stuff, I think it's got less compatibility with, but most everything else it's compatible with, and it works great. I've never had any issues with it, and so that's our long-lasting lubrication portion. And then the last one is Goop hand cleaner, which, let's see, I don't think you can see it on here. Yeah, it's kind of on there. It says remove stains from washable clothes. So Goop hand cleaner has been found to do a lot more than just clean hands. You can clean leather with it. You can clean your hair out with it. If you get bubble gum in your hair, kids get some chewing gum. One kid sticks it in a wad in the other kid's hair. Use Goop to help get that out. It takes epoxy off of your hands. Granted, not set. If it sets, you're kind of stuck with it that way. But it'll take, non-set epoxy off your hands. It's good for stains, that yellow ring on your collar, if you ever get that, or the stains under your armpits, different things like that. It's very, very good. So you've got, and it's also good for cleaning like your sports equipment and stuff. If you ever have the issue where your golf club, you've stored it for a while and now you've got a sticky handle, rub some of this on there and it'll take that stickiness off. And it's got lanolin and some conditioners in it, so it'll also keep the material supple rather than just stripping it of all of the, if it happens to be leather or happens to be plastic, it's not, you're just going to strip it and ruin it. It's going to get the nastiness off, and then you'll be able to have a nice conditioned handle. It's good for stoves. Anything that is dirty, you could potentially use Goop on to get it nice and clean. I had a sewing machine given to me. I took and applied Goop to the sewing machine. It came with a case, and the case had this yellow dinge to it. And I couldn't tell if it was dust or if that was just age. I put Goop on it and was able to clean all of that yellow dinge off and get the case back to its original color. So it can take off that caked on mess that you may not think you can get off, right? Especially with just soap and water. But that's the Goop is our tough on grime, gentle on skin thing. So basically you can, let's say, all right, you've got a firearm, for instance. You can break it down, clean all the corrosion and the carbon, all the fouling and whatnot with the ballistol. Then you can shine up any spots, decorative spots that you have with the Flitz polish. And then as you're putting it together, you use some of the super lube to kind of add a little bit more lubrication to those hot spots that you've got, maybe on the rails or on the trigger points and whatnot. And then when you're all done, you can use the Goop hand cleaner to clean your hands and then clean up the table or your workbench and get all the grease and the dirt and everything off. So that's what it's good for. And for some reason, I've messed my thing up. There we go. So that's what it's good for. It's you've got this little subsection of this kit that is very versatile, and there's a lot more uses. I could go into it and read you a ton of uses, but I don't think it's necessary for that. There's been many videos on Ballistol and Flitz. Not as many on Goop or Super Lube, but once you get it and you try it, you'll see the versatility behind it. And that's why we include it. We want this kit to be versatile. We want it to cover as many aspects as possible. And if for some reason, if I had to pick between any of the stuff that's in here, those 4 items would be the main thing. The universal care kit, as I call those 4 things. Just because I use Ballistol almost every single day for something. Blitz I don't use every day, but it comes in handy when you need it. And then the Super Lube, same thing. I use it for all sorts of different jobs around the house, especially when I'm working on the cars or lawnmowers or stuff like that, when we need grease in areas that otherwise would fail without it. The Super Lube works fantastically. And then the Goop hand cleaner, it's the only thing that I use to clean my hands after I've worked outside. And it these shirts, right? If I come home and something's happened with one of the vehicles and I'm trying to figure out what it is, for some reason I don't prioritize taking the shirt off and keeping it clean. And so I end up with, grease on the cuffs and grease right here. So use the Goop when I come back in the house. I clean my hands off, rub the Goop on the cuffs, rub the Goop on the stains on my chest, take the shirt off and throw it in the washing machine, and it's nice and clean when it comes out. Now, your mileage may vary, as with anything, because any one particular thing may or may not be more or less compatible with any of this, right? If you use Ballistol on leather or on wood, it's going to darken it. That's just how leather and wood react with oils. You use Flitz polish on a gun that's got that artificial painted on, bluing. Thank you, in parkerization. It'll take it off. You don't want to polish something that's got a coating that you want to stay on there. Unless it's paint, something that's really bonded to it. Always test what you've got. Make sure that you know what you're doing. And same thing with Goop. If you get Goop on a polyester shirt or something, you have a chance that the petroleum that's in the Goop is going to react with the polyester and maybe potentially stain it. So you test the fabric, see if it's color fast, or see if it's going to stain it. Super Lubes, same sort of deal. But anyway, here it is. It's a podcast, first one in a while, and sorry, there's not much more interesting things to talk about. We've just been real busy trying to get stuff going, trying to stay alive out here in the deep south. And as we get into the summertime, things are going to ramp up. We've got a few projects around the house. We've got the back porch we've got to work on and get it fixed. Trying to plant some more plants. Got a satsuma tree we haven't planted yet. We've had it for a year and a half almost. We got to put it in the ground and then get our pecan trees producing and get muscadines picked, and we're going to ramp up. We're going to be busy again. But anyway, hopefully we'll have another episode later on this week. It probably be around the same thing. We'll probably talk a little bit more about Universal Accessory Kit and what's in it. Highlight a couple more items, and then we'll see what comes up throughout the week, and we'll come up with some good topics to talk about. All right, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. We'll see you later on this week if we do another podcast. But otherwise, have a good one. Thank you so much.